What happens when a man decides to take that from the Lord which does not belong to him? What happens when a man decides to participate in the holy things of the Lord when he is not ordained to do so? The Bible provides many examples of such behaviors, and rarely do we ever wake up one day and realize that we are living amongst these same men. My previous video that I made regarding Pastor Dowell and his desecration of the Most High's ecclesiastical structure gave you a bit of insight on how Pastor Dowell was a participant of such behavior. Unilateral power simply does not exist in Israel. It is a power that's politically and exclusively given to the King of Israel, which we all agree is Jesus. During an ecclesiastical deliberation, there is no man in the entire process who has this unilateral power. The definition of unilateral is actions, decisions, or contracts involving or affecting only one side, party, or faction rather than being mutual or agreed upon by all. This is what Pastor Dowell did when he shut down Straitway, Georgia, and forced his ecclesiastical council to come up with a judgment against Elder Rufus. Additionally, the judgment that was casted upon Elder Rufus was not in correlation to the accusation that was given to Pastor Dowell. It was a separate ecclesiastical matter that began due to Dowell's alleged opinion that Elder Rufus was rising up against him and being disrespectful in the Wisconsin meeting. Till this day, Pastor Dowell has not released the videotapes of what took place in Wisconsin for such an offense that he accused Elder Rufus of committing. Multiple judges in the matter have different opinions on whether Rufus offended anyone at all. The alleged offense that Elder Rufus committed was so great that Pastor Dowell said that he felt as if he was being ambushed in the Wisconsin meeting, when in reality, he was behind the scenes himself, telling his elders that he was going to get the spirit on Elder Rufus.
The reason why we're here, and I'm not the moderator or the narrator or anything you want to call it as far as this meeting go, we're here today not because of any sin, not because of any iniquity or any transgression, but because of an offense that Pastor Rufus basically has with me from what I can ascertain. I myself personally felt like there was an ambush that took place up there in Wisconsin. Because, and the reason why I say that, they may not have known, or he may not have known about the meeting maybe an hour or two before Wisconsin, but they all have been doing chatter behind the scenes, Elder Mitchell, Elder Brent, and Elder Doug with Pastor Rufus. And all this could have been avoided if he would just simply came to me.
Pastor Dowell never went to Elder Rufus to deal with the alleged spirit that was on him. Instead, he spat in the ears of his very own elders and consistently accuses of Elder Rufus of doing the same.
All the leaders met together on 6 days, but prior to that, Pastor Dowell had told me back at the community that he was going to deal with Pastor Rufus and that spirit on him in front of all the leaders, okay? In front of everybody. He's basically going to front him out in front of everybody in that leadership meeting on 6-day afternoon. And I'm like, okay, so, all right, well, he's going to do what he's going to do, right? And
it is no surprise that even Daniel Muir and Corey Phillips are in total agreement with Pastor Dowell. In Corey Phillips' video titled "Two Sides to the Story Continued," you'll clearly see that both of these men have no clue how deceived they are in this ecclesiastical proceeding. Or are they? Did any of these men have any knowledge of Pastor Dowell's plans to ambush Elder Rufus at the Wisconsin meeting and get the spirit that's allegedly on him? Would Daniel Muir be willing to come forward? Corey? It seems like Pastor Dowell had an accusation against Elder Rufus in his heart for this entire saga, and instead of approaching his brother like Jesus commanded, Pastor Dowell decided to just go tell his leaders that he's gonna get the spirit that's on him. It seems like Pastor Dowell's plans were foiled at the Wisconsin meeting, because at the end of the day, Elder Rufus genuinely wanted to have the situation solved. From the beginning, Elder Rufus has been saying that he wants restoration.
You won't say it was a lie, because I didn't lie. And I never hid anything. I've been 100% transparent through this whole entire thing. Why? I want restoration. I don't want separation. I don't want division in Israel. I want us to be restored.
The Wisconsin meeting fulfills the ecclesiastical proceeding for Elder Rufus, who came forward with his witnesses after he had already approached Pastor Dowell. It is Pastor Dowell himself who has never fulfilled the ecclesiastical proceedings, because he never approached Elder Rufus about the spirit that he thought was on him. There's so many contradictions and lies and deceiving behaviors throughout this entire process that it is beyond the shadow of a doubt that the only true fact that remains in all of this situation is one simple truth. Elder Rufus has not been brought forward to the assembly to complete the ecclesiastical case he brought forward against Pastor Dowell. It is precisely this reason that I decided to make this video and follow up in the same vein of my previous one. Pastor Dowell's a man that wielded the unilateral power that no man in Israel has. He shut down the ecclesiastical proceeding and forced his elders to come up with a judgment, even though he himself said that there would be no judgment, no sin placed on Elder Rufus.
We're here today not because of any sin, not because of any iniquity or any transgression, but because of an offense.
At the end of it all, he came up with a list of multiple ridiculous, disingenuous, unreasonable, and unfathomable judgments upon Elder Rufus, with a heavy focus on his finances. So, now let's take a look at the man who decided to overstep his bounds of authority and participate in an office that he is not ordained to be in. King Uzziah from the tribe of Judah was 16 years old when he became the king, and he was well renowned for his military prowess, and he conquered many lands throughout the ancient Near East. He was responsible for making suzerain vassal treaties, building vast compounds, expanding his territory and farmlands, creating various military weaponry, and with the small background of King Uzziah out of the way, let's take a look at the Bible and see what the Most High has to say about Uzziah when he decided to take unilateral decisions that are unauthorized. But when he was strong, he grew proud, to his destruction. He was unfaithful to the Lord his God and entered the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. But Azariah the priest went in after him with 80 priests of the Lord who were men of valor, and they withstood King Uzziah and said to him, "It is not for you, King Uzziah, to burn the incense to the Lord, but for the priests, the sons of Aaron, who are consecrated to burn incense. Go out of the sanctuary, for you have done wrong, and it will bring you no honor from the Lord God." Then Uzziah was angry. Now, he had a censer in his hand to burn incense, and when he became angry with the priests, leprosy broke out on his forehead in the presence of the priests in his house of the Lord, by the altar of incense. And Azariah the chief priest and all the priests looked at him, and behold, he was leprous in his forehead. And they rushed him out quickly, and he himself hurried to go out, because the Lord had struck him. And King Uzziah was a leper to the day of his death, and being a leper, lived in a separate house, for he was excluded from the house of the Lord. And Jotham his son was over the king's household, governing the people of the land. As you can see, King Uzziah was the ordained king of Israel. Yet even when he overstepped his bounds and walked foot into the holy temple, he was stricken with leprosy. Have you ever considered and asked yourself, why was Uzziah given leprosy on his forehead? Why not his arms or his body or anywhere else? I'm sure many of you already know where I'm probably going to go with this, but let's take a look and see at the deeper meaning behind these things. You shall make a plate of pure gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. And you shall fasten it on the turban by a cord of blue. It shall be on the front of the turban. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall bear any guilt from the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate as their holy gifts. It shall regularly be on his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. King Uzziah overstepped his bounds. He wanted to take what did not belong to him and participate in the holy things. By doing so, the Lord showed him who he thought he was, by instead of giving him an engraved plate of gold to wear across his forehead, he was given leprosy to wear on his forehead. Instead of being holy to the Lord, he became unclean to the Lord for the rest of his life. Whether you choose to operate in the office of the king or the office of the priest, and you are not ordained to do so, the Most High will come to you, and you will have to pay. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but any man who thinks that he has unilateral power to override an ecclesiastical council of elders and invoke powers that are only given to the King of Israel will one day be dealt with by the Most High directly. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Say to the congregation, get away from the dwelling of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram."
Sinking ship.
Shalom.
Flee in a sinking ship. Oh, you're not who you presented.